She goes, I can tell you when she will die and what will happen to her family. I love that about me.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's the other big line of the episode.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
That
Unhinged.
is an insane thing.
Yes.
That is maybe one of the craziest things I've ever heard.
Hello, welcome to Guide to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
And I'm her little brother, William.
And this week, Will is gifting us with his commentary and thoughts on the Real Housewives franchise and the horror-themed or paranormal-themed moments that it holds.
You know, I really like this framing of this episode. This works very nicely for me.
Right.
It is a benevolent choice that I have
Yes,
made.
you hold all the
It's a gift I'm
cards.
giving to all of our listeners and viewers out there that we're going to cover this topic.
Mm-hmm. It absolutely is, because our most recent Patreon episode was Will and I having a face-off with horror trivia to see who would get to pick the episode topic for the other.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I lost.
Yes.
Which meant I was going to have to cover the Garbage Pail Kids movie.
We almost had to do this episode that you're listening to or watching was almost exclusively about the Garbage Pail Kids.
It was almost quite different. But Will extremely generously offered to do what would have happened had I won, which is covering Real Housewives stuff.
This is something that people have been asking for genuinely for like 6 months, something like that. You had initially wanted me to cover this topic the last time that we did a sort of face-to-face horror trivia show.
Right.
And but I beat you back then too. So
I know.
Willie's on a streak. Two shows, 2 face-offs. I've won each.
Yes.
You beat me in the initial.
Right. And there were no
say.
stakes in that one.
True. But so, yeah, I realized after I won, and you can watch this, it's out right now on Patreon, starting at the Ghost tier. That's starting at the $4 tier and up. But I realized once I won, oh no, I also don't want to talk about Garbage Pail Kids for an hour.
Right.
So let's not pretend that this is not also pretty self-serving.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about the Garbage Pail Kids. We will,
We
by
will.
the way. We're going to find a way to talk about Garbage Pail Kids on this feed.
Yes.
But yeah, instead I have Kristen sent me a list of moments from the Real Housewives where they either visited a psychic or something was themed around Halloween. And I looked at a couple of those moments. I watched a full episode. And then as we sat down to record, Kristen revealed that she feels I did not watch the correct material. So with our live viewing audience, because we
Yes.
record live every week on Patreon,
Yep.
we tried to watch The Dinner Party from Hell.
That's right. That's right. Now, I just want to say, it's not that I was nitpicking all the material he watched. I sent him 2 links that were compositive clips, and then I texted, I strongly suggest that you watch the episode Dinner Party from Hell, because that is a meaty episode.
There was a lot going on.
Yes.
I saw a lot of things happen.
And so I was concerned when I found out that Will hadn't, because I was like, oh man, that's like the whole thing.
Yeah. I can understand that for sure. Can we start simply...
Wherever you want.
Why? I guess, I don't know. I have some questions about like what this is.
Okay.
So this is a reality show.
Yes.
Right? For people out there. And I think I want to say this. I said this on a recent episode where I was like, if you think you're not going to like this. Oh, it was about wrestling.
Okay.
That's what it was about. When we covered wrestling a while back, I was like, as you come into this episode, if you think you don't care about wrestling and so therefore this episode may not be for you, I can understand that. But also... we have got, thanks to Kristen, the moments that fit Guide to the Unknown from this otherwise Bravo reality show.
Right.
About people fighting.
Wealthy women living their lives, which often includes a lot of fighting.
Yes. All they're doing is drinking, assembling parties.
Yes.
A lot of like, we're going to go to dinner here, and then something insane happens. Or I'm throwing a party, and then something insane happens.
Yes.
And by something insane happens, I mean someone shows up wasted, somebody confronts somebody decides to air dirty laundry, everybody's shocked.
Usually in service of telling the truth.
Of course, speaking their truth.
Right.
And then everybody leaves.
Yes.
That appears to be watching a couple episodes, that appears to be the pattern to
That's
me.
the general structure, yeah.
So if you think that's not for you, I get it. But
course.
also, I mean, we've got the greatest bits and pieces here.
Right.
Why? How long have you been watching this kind of thing?
I don't know.
Do you know how long this has been like around? Like what is this?
I bet it's been around for like, I bet maybe 14, 15 years.
That's it?
I would assume. Yeah, I think so.
I would have genuinely thought more. I would have thought, yeah, like 20 plus years.
I don't think 20. I think I would have known because I feel like there'd be a big like 20-year anniversary of Real Housewives thing.
Yeah.
So I bet it's like 14-ish years, and I bet I've been watching it for like 12.
Now, there are like 1,000 different spin-offs because
there are
Real
8.
Housewives. There are 8? Mm-hmm. Can you list them?
Yeah, I did before. Yeah, it's there's OC, New York, New Jersey, let's see, Atlanta. There was Dallas. I didn't say that before. There was DC.
We're at 6.
Potomac, Salt Lake City.
Potomac?
Yeah.
Where's Potomac?
It's right outside of DC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
Salt Lake City.
Okay.
And Miami.
All right, that was like 8
I think
or
that's
9,
everything. Yeah, I think it's 9 now. But 2 of those are defunct. Dallas isn't on anymore, and neither is DC.
And you watch all these?
No, I watch all of
Sounds
them.
like a long week. That's like work.
Well, it alternates. I watch all of them except they're not all on during the same time.
Okay.
Like, OC will go off. Atlanta's coming back on. I watch all of them except for OC.
Okay.
I don't care for OC.
Do they have crossovers? Will like a person from New York appear on Beverly Hills?
Occasionally. It'll be like a 1-episode thing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do
And
they
also,
know each other?
Sometimes they do because, first of all,
Only because of notoriety.
often because of notoriety, because they run in the same Bravo circles now, because they also might be doing Watch What Happens Live, like on the same night or something like that, which is a talk show with Andy Cohen that comes on after the Housewives, and they have Housewives on as guests. But some of them were already friends, like Kyle Richards and Bethany Frankel were like roommates and friends when they were in their 20s. Bethany Frankel's somebody who was on New York.
Okay.
So, yeah, and there was also a crossover show called Ultimate Girls Trip that happened late last year. There's going to be a second season of that.
Ultimate Girls Trip. Yeah. Because like this sounds like comic books and it sounds like Marvel.
In what way?
I don't know. Just that there are all these like little pocket stories, but they're all part of Real Housewives and they have crossover. The other thing it makes me think of is CSI.
Oh, in what way there?
Do you remember so CSI first started in like the early 2000s, I want to say.
Yeah.
And then there was CSI Miami.
Right.
And then they made CSI New York. But the original CSI was never called, CSI Las Vegas. It was just called CSI.
Right.
And I wondered here, was there an original show just called Real Housewives?
It was going to be called just Real Housewives. OC was the first one, and they foresaw that this might be a city-by-city franchise. So at the last minute, they changed it to Real Housewives of Orange County.
Wow.
Which was a smart move.
That was a very smart move because they built an empire.
Yes. Yeah. And a number of these other shows started out not as housewife shows, like the Real Housewives of New York, when they were filming it was called Manhattan Moms.
Oh, okay.
But then they were like, and Real Housewives of New York came after OC, and they're like, actually, this could be the next Housewives show. So they made it Real Housewives of New York.
One question that I had is like, these are not
married women.
Not across the board. Like the premise, it doesn't matter, but like the premise doesn't fit the name.
No.
Really. So Real Housewives just stands for...
At this point, it stands for wealthy women.
Wealthy women. Okay. With some anger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
We got a couple sweeties in there, but...
Do you feel, because I do, that sometimes there are people on the show that do not fit?
Yes.
And are trying very hard to be part of this?
Yes, absolutely. Because when it started out, like it was mostly people who actually were friends, but now they'll have these like really tenuous connections where they'll just have somebody have a dinner with somebody else and be like, oh yeah, this is Ramona's friend, Bershawn. And it's like, no, it's not.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Ramona is somebody that I want to speak about.
Yeah. This is so weird to hear you talking about them.
I have known Ramonas. Let me tell you.
She's horrible. She's
they
hopefully
are-
getting fired.
Trouble with a capital T.
Oh, yeah. No, Ramona's a nightmare.
Why is she getting fired?
She's racist. She's horrible. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
She's horrible. She has said horrible things like through the run of the show and off show and everything, but people kind of let it go because Ramona's like fun and crazy to
Yeah.
watch. But chickens are starting to come home to roost and they're firing people for stuff that's not cool now.
Good.
So hopefully the last couple of seasons of New York have been a mess.
I'll tell you what. Fake friend.
Fake-
I look at Ramona and I see someone who cuts down people that
Yes.
they call friend.
And her whole thing is that she supports women, she says. And
is
she
that
does
right?
not support women. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's terrible.
We see you, Ramona.
It's enough with Ramona. I'm done with her.
I see what you do.
Yeah. I'm done with her.
Anyway, so what are we doing? So hold on. So this is like the premise of these kinds of shows. Kristen watches this crap.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Evidently, they frequent psychics and mediums,
Yes.
and they have Halloween parties and stuff. So, I think I want to leave it. We'll end with the dinner party from
Okay.
hell because I have a few things to say there.
Okay.
But here's a sort of a mini here. In one of the things that you sent me, one of the lists of times that they saw psychics, Real Housewives of Orange County, season 10, episode 11. Whoever those people are, they go to lunch with a psychic,
Okay.
and they start talking about a man named Brooks Ayers.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
know who this man is?
Yes. So, like I said, I don't watch OC, but I'm
Right.
aware of the goings-ons. Brooks Ayers was Vicky Gumbelson's ex-fiance.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Vicky Gumbelson is a Real Housewife.
It's Gunvalson.
Okay. All right. Listen,
It's still a funny name.
it's not the kind of like highfalutin,
I know.
socialite name you expect.
Well, Vicky's not the kind of socialite you'd expect.
Bryant Gumbelson.
Bryant Gumbelson. Yeah, he's the former fiance of Vicky Gumbelson who faked having cancer.
Correct. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So they're sitting at dinner, and the psychic says that he goes, I've got kind of a wishy-washy perspective, referring
Well,
to the
something.
cancer diagnosis.
Yeah.
And he says, I just don't see it. And they go, what do you mean you don't see
Well, he was
it?
correct.
You don't see that Brooks has cancer? And he goes, it's very possible. And so they start spinning out, the women sitting at this table. And the point isn't who they are, what's going on, really.
Right.
But they start going like, can you believe it? Like, who would do that? Who would do that kind of thing? One of them is like, I've known someone who did that before. And so they're like, people do it. People do it all the time. And I was watching it and I was thinking like, you're sitting here with a psychic and you're treating it as if you're sitting with a journalist, who has revealed
Oh, yeah, this is fact.
ironclad. It's
Yeah.
a fact now because
Right.
this guy said it over his BLT.
You know who else faked it? John Lovitz in Seinfeld.
That's right. Yeah, he did fake it. Do you know
Yep.
that there was a one line where they mentioned that he died?
Yes.
Later in the series?
Yes.
They go, remember so-and-so?
Yeah.
He died.
He died.
They
Yep.
just killed John Lovitz off screen in
I know.
Seinfeld. I want to do a bunch of TikToks about little spooky things from Seinfeld because there are like
That'd
a
be
million,
great.
but
Oh,
they
totally.
go nowhere.
Yeah.
It's not enough for a show, but it could just be fun
know, it
for a
might be, but
smattering of
yes.
goofball here and there.
Yeah.
So anyway, the psychic at the table goes, listen, I'm not a guru. I'm not Gandhi.
Okay. Gandhi wasn't a psychic medium from what I...
Well, also,
No.
but he's saying like I'm not diagnosing the guy. I'm not a guru. I'm not Gandhi. I'm like, well, I don't think Gandhi was known for diagnosing someone with cancer
No.
from a remote position.
I don't think so.
So this whole thing sucks. And then I wrote, all right, this is all stupid. And then I have an article here. Brooks Ayers faked cancer diagnosis.
Yes, he did.
And here is the article.
And there was a raging debate about whether Vicky knew or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In November 2015, Ayers admitted he had forged documents to make it appear he had been a patient at Cancer Hospital City of Hope. So he admitted that. At the time, he apologized and said he faked the documents because he did not want to disclose his real medical records,
Okay.
which I guess is a fine excuse, right? You know, like
Not really.
no, I'm saying in terms of like if you faked here's what I'm really saying.
Yeah.
If you have faked having cancer and now you need to explain why you've got all these fake documents saying I don't want to give my medical records to a TV show.
Yeah.
is an interesting excuse. It's a plausible
It's an interesting excuse.
The revelation came after his cancer diagnosis had been called into question by some of Gumbelson's Real Housewives of Orange County co-stars, with the diagnosis becoming a major storyline on the show. Mm-hmm. So here's my question for you.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious that they told the psychic, right? Like,
I don't know.
out this information in a way that keeps us free and clear of accusing him of anything.
Of accusing.
Or is he a real psychic? I guess the other thing I'm not accounting for is maybe
you're not making room.
I'm not. Yeah.
For the idea that he's a real psychic.
I accidentally didn't leave room for the Real Housewives of Orange County psychic at lunch to be picking up on a frequency.
Right.
Instead, silly me.
Yeah.
I think that maybe they were talking about how he definitely faked it. Mm-hmm. And we're like, well, this psychic is a great way.
Yeah, to like get that information across.
Yeah.
I don't know that they would need to do that, is really my hesitation. They don't seem to have a hard time just bringing stuff to the table. They don't really need to bring in a third party to like grease the skids for them.
Fair enough. But either way, I thought it was kind of awesome that the psychic said that.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah.
He did fake.
Yes, he did.
Having cancer. And it's on TV.
Yeah.
In some stupid ass show. Mm-hmm. Like, what a dumb place to reveal that you're a dumb idiot.
I know.
You know?
I know. Totally.
Anyway. All right. So here's an episode that I watched. I watched an episode of Real Housewives of New York, I think.
Okay.
Called Eat, Drink, and Be Scary. Mm-hmm. From July of 2020.
Okay. So then this isn't a dark period of New York. Because New York is my favorite of the franchises. Okay. Except for like the last 2 seasons. And
well, you might be able to fill in who some of these people are and what's happening.
Okay.
Because it's a mess.
Yeah, I'll give it my best shot.
So why is it in a dark period here?
It just sucks. Like it's not fun. Like Sonya's like getting way too drunk constantly. Dorinda too sometimes. Dorinda's just being like mean and crazy. It's lacking some of the fun. It feels like ugh.
Sonya, I wrote down at one point, what did I wrote like, wasted lady in a car is mad at Ramona.
That could be anybody, honestly.
She goes, she doesn't see my pain. She doesn't see my struggle. And then I figured out later that's Sonya.
Could be anybody. Okay.
And she was talking to Dorinda.
Okay.
So these names
that
you've said, I know them too now.
I know you do. It's so weird. And Dorinda is the one who lives in the Berkshires.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So in the Berkshires and in New York City, but
here's a description of the episode from Bravo. Looking for love again, Ramona meets with a matchmaker. Meanwhile, Dorinda and her daughter Hannah discuss Dorinda's recent life struggles. And to mark the end of Halloween week, Luann hosts a voodoo-themed dinner party where Ramona becomes the subject of everyone's witchy ire.
Oh.
There's a moment where they say Dorinda goes to lunch with her daughter Hannah.
Yeah.
They go out to eat somewhere, and the weirdest thing happens. Mm-hmm. Somebody's like, yeah, what can I get you for lunch, ladies? Oh, and she goes, yeah, I'll have a hamburger. You know me. You know what I like.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
She goes, lettuce, tomato, you know. Mustard, mayonnaise, you get the deal. You know what I like.
Yeah, she's of the people.
And I just wrote down controlling. This feels to me like a fake folksy moment for the cameras where she's like, I'm a regular here.
Yes.
But realize like, oh, if I just say the regular, what am I going to get?
Right, because they don't actually know me.
So she tells him her order while insisting he already knows her owner.
Yeah.
But you know me, lettuce, tomato, but you get this, mayonnaise, mustard. And then they talk about sauce for a while.
Okay.
Dorinda's daughter goes, I'll have all the sauce. And then Dorinda, in a cutaway, says if she was ever sent to a desert island with one thing, she'd bring Hellman's mayonnaise.
Ugh. Gross.
Can you imagine mayonnaise and sand and...
Yeah, a hot climate? No, thank you.
Dorinda sitting on a beach, sticking a full hand into a big jar of mayonnaise.
That's the one thing?
That's what's happening on this show.
Ugh.
That's what like a real house... That's what like a wealthy New York socialite is talking about.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't have enough Hellman's mayo.
Just like us.
Yeah, it's a whole scene dedicated to sauce.
Socialites, they're just like us.
A whole scene about sauce.
Right.
On this show. All right, so let's talk about this Halloween party itself, because the rest of this is nonsense. At one point, by the way, I was watching this show, and I thought it said like coming up next, and it showed a clip of I guess Sonia holding a voodoo doll and going, "Ramona, this is you," and Ramona goes, "Oh yeah, what are you gonna do to me?" And Sonia starts bashing the voodoo doll into something.
God.
Just like starts smashing it on the table. And so it was like, oh, okay, awesome. We're going to get some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And then when we came back from commercial break, it was the part about mayonnaise.
Oh.
And I was saying to Allie,
Yeah, I guess they're just teasing like later in the show.
Yeah, I was like, what? I thought I was almost done.
Yeah.
And then I looked down. I was 13 minutes into the hour-long episode. It was eternity.
Why didn't you click forward until you got to the Halloween party?
Because I don't know how this works. I thought I was supposed to watch this show.
I
thought it would all contribute to the Halloween show. Anyway,
I don't know.
So this Halloween thing, everybody keeps talking about Ramona. Everybody is upset about Ramona, who is trying to throw this party for herself, but it's also for Luann. But or maybe it's a different party she's gonna throw.
I think it's a party that she's going to throw for herself for her birthday.
So this entire episode, while they're assembling a party, they're talking about assembling a party, and it's not the same party.
I guess so.
I think so. It's very puzzling. Anyway, everybody's angry at Ramona. Mm-hmm. And then at the party, Sonia and Dorinda, they show up so drunk.
Yeah.
So uncomfortably
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
drunk.
It's too much. Sonia gets too much kind of all throughout the whole franchise, like here and there.
Yeah.
A lot. Not just here and there. But like the last couple seasons were like just sad and like weird.
Severely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And the party itself is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. They've got like the tables are all made to look like coffins and tombstones.
Yeah.
And because it's voodoo themed, they're just, like skulls and stuff all over the place. But bizarrely, there's a centerpiece table that has a stack of seafood that's about 5 feet high.
Yeah.
With crab legs and full squids and severed goat heads. Just in the middle of the table.
Right.
Real goat heads.
Yes.
Severed and on the table.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of thing where I'm like, this is so far into theme.
Yeah.
And I know I didn't have a great argument last week, and I sure still don't this week. But I almost feel like a lot of the people here would be like, oh, I can't watch horror. And then you're at this party and there's the goat head on the table.
And you're like, is this not horror?
Yeah. Is this not part of just like everyday life scares? Scares and spooks?
Right.
Anyway, they all like whisper to each other about Ramona. When Sonia and Dorinda are in the car.
Thank you to looking to me for approval.
Had to make sure.
Dorinda, right? Not Deirdre?
Yeah, not Deirdre. Sonia and Dorinda are just yammering. Mm-hmm. And they cut away to the driver a couple of times.
The Bravo editors do this kind of stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think is genius. The editors do a lot of good work.
Yes. Yeah. They cut to the driver who's just a regular person and he has no reaction to anything that's happening. He is not entertained. He is not angry. He is keeping it all inside.
He's a pro.
And it just signaled like, yeah, these people are out of their minds.
Yeah.
These people are insane. And there are like everyday people who are working for and around them.
Yes, who are like in their orbit. That's another thing that Ramona has done a lot is she's referred to the help. And people have had it.
Yeah. Don't like that. I'm telling you, I have seen, listen, we live near Princeton, New Jersey, and I have met Ramonas.
I worked at a fancy salon in Princeton for 10 years.
Yeah.
Ramonas I have met.
Listen, it was sickening. I was staring at her face.
She's horrible.
I was just feeling like residual hatred.
Yeah.
For like every person I've ever known. It's like, take it all out on Ramona. Yeah, and then at the end of the episode, Luann or something.
Yeah, Luann.
She stands up and starts pulling apart that seafood tower.
That's Leah.
Leah?
Yeah.
And that felt to me like she was just being like, all right, well, this party's a little bit boring.
Oh,
And
she
the
was wasted too.
The producers maybe whispered to her, hey, why don't you rip apart all those shrimp?
Maybe. I don't know. She was wasted too. Hard to say.
It felt very much like a phony baloney. We got to make something ridiculous happen for the show. Kind of moment.
Yeah.
Although I will say there was also a period of time where Sonia looks across the table at Leah. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whatever, to somebody. And goes, well, you look like a weirdo. And she goes, what? What'd you say to me? And they get in each other's faces. And I was like, oh, cool. And then as they're screaming at each other, they're like, can you imagine? All right, listen, let's just calm it down. Can you imagine how powerful we would be if we were on the same team?
Oh, my God.
I was like, oh, this is deflating the argument.
Yeah,
which is what I want to see.
Right.
But also, what do you mean on the same team? What do you mean?
I know. They have a way of talking and interacting with the world that is just like, what? Who
Alien.
talks about these things?
Who
talks about
actually
things
has
in
like an
that way?
alliance?
Right.
I don't have any alliances.
Yes, totally. Or talk about like, I can't remember if it was on the Housewives or something else that I was watching, but it was on 90 Day Fiance. It was somebody talking about how like, I think we're going to make it. We're going to make it like as a couple. And I said to Ryan, like, I don't hear a lot of people in my everyday life talk about how they're going to make it as a couple. You just are with somebody and that's just fine and normal.
I think we're really going to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really alien. Mm-hmm. I really got the impression watching this show, like what a reality show is it's almost meant to be a documentary, right? Like this is supposed to be what these people are actually like. But I think they're so undeniably influenced by the fact there are cameras around.
But here's the messed up thing. I think that they are influenced by there being cameras around, but at a certain point that becomes integrated into who they actually are.
Agreed.
Like the same way that you could like get a bunch of money and then you become privileged.
Yes.
And like you act that way. You are privileged anyway, but you know what I mean?
Yes. Oh, I completely agree. But it's just so alien. It's just so weird.
It's really weird.
And like they'll like kind of look at the camera a little bit, but not in a Michael Scott knowing way. Mm-hmm. It's just sort of like occasionally they're like, yeah, the camera's right there, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're just like very aware.
Yeah.
And I dislike it.
Yeah.
I do not like the feeling of these people, these environments, or this show.
Is there anybody who stood out to you that you liked at all? Who did you hate the least? In New York, let's say.
Oh, boy. I kept looking at Luann and thinking Countess.
Yeah, the Countess Luann.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, Luann's doing pretty well in that season because she stopped drinking. So she's not as nuts.
Yeah, she was not insane. But again, I was puzzled between her and Ramona because I didn't know whose party this was.
Right.
At the end of the episode, they go, "Where's Ramona?" And they're like, oh, she went somewhere else. She went to a different party.
She always does that.
And I was like, she left her own party to go to a different party? Or
a big complaint about Ramona is that she's a major social climber.
Oh, okay.
And that, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely hated her the most.
Yes.
Even though I could see everybody going insane around her. Mm-hmm. I was like, all of these people are a reaction to Ramona.
Yeah, she's horrible.
I know not what she's done.
Right.
And yet
I can tell.
Yeah. The writing is on the wall about
honestly,
this Ramona.
Pretty much any episode you could have chosen for New York would have a horror element because Ramona is present. Right? She is horror.
Don't like her.
Yeah, she's terrible.
I don't like her one little bit.
No.
And then you made me watch The Dinner Party from Hell.
Yes.
So let's talk about this.
Okay, but you know what, Will? Before we talk about The Dinner Party from Hell, I think we need a reprieve.
I definitely do.
Yeah, we need to shake it off a little bit, and let's talk about the podcast Book versus Movie because it entirely rules, and if you're not already listening to it, you should be. That is Book versus Movie, which is hosted by Margot D and Margot P, which worked out beautifully. Oh. All right.
Yeah.
The podcast is exactly what the name suggests. It's comparisons between books and then the movies that are based on them. And it has sweet commentary, likes, dislikes, discussion of both of them from Margot and Margot.
And they do not shy away from spoilers, which we love.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, if you're not talking about spoilers, you're only talking about 10% of the story.
Absolutely.
Margot and Margot give you a full picture of both formats, the book and the movie. Good, bad, and ugly. Mm-hmm. They have a lot of horror and mystery episodes, too. I know the one about the Invisible Man is a favorite of Kristen's.
Yes, it is. Really good. The 2020 Invisible Man with Elizabeth Moss. They cover the book and then talk about the movie, and it's very fun. But there are a lot of other horror movies and books or mysteries like Hercule Poirot. It's an awesome show. It's been going on for a long time. It's such a pleasant, easy, in the best possible way listen. I really super recommend it.
It's a brilliant, tidy idea.
Yeah, even the title is just book versus movie.
It's a comfy, cozy idea.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's awesome. So look up book versus movie wherever you listen to podcasts, and then give them a review once you know them and love them, because to know them is to love them.
Yes.
And let them know that Guide to the Unknown sent you.
Please do.
Yeah, so thank you, book versus movie.
Thank you. All right, let's talk about Allison Dubois, the psychic.
Let's.
So this is an episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Mm-hmm. Okay, Roby.
Yeah, I guess
Robes?
so.
RHOBH.
I think everybody just says RHOBH.
Okay.
Like Real House of New York is Roni.
Roni, right. Mm-hmm. So Camille Grammer,
Yeah.
who was married to
Yes.
Kelsey Grammer of Frasier.
So Kelsey
So a little 6 degrees of Willie here.
of Kelsey Grammer. That's true.
Just saying.
Because Will famously and beautifully played Frasier in a murder mystery dinner party that was themed around Cheers.
I forget, did you have to see me do that?
Yes, I did.
You saw me do that?
Yeah,
What
I did. You did beautifully.
What did you think of that?
I thought you did a good job.
What did you think of the show?
It was really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really weird. They gave me free chicken every night.
It's nothing to sneeze at.
Live, living chicken. I was up 36 chickens by the end of the season.
But Kelsey Grammer pushed her to do the show.
What?
Because he wanted to get a divorce, and he has said that this was his parting gift to Camille,
What?
was to give her a little fame, a little shine, and maybe distract her a little bit because he was having an affair by pushing her to go on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Oh, that's really dark.
It is really dark.
And
Camille
awful.
also sucks, though.
Okay.
So,
I mean, her friends suck.
yeah.
I can tell you that much. She
Yeah.
brings her friend, a psychic medium, or just a medium or a psychic?
I
They
don't
are two
know.
different
Definitely
things.
a medium.
To a dinner party.
Right.
Her friend is named Allison Dubois. Mm-hmm. And man, does it get off the rails.
And she, if you happen to remember, there was a show called Medium starring Patricia Arquette that was like a big hit for years and years. That show is based on Allison Dubois' life.
Is she herself known? I could tell watching this episode, I was like, she only wants to be part of this universe. Like,
Right.
she would love to be doing this week in, week out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, I didn't know about her before this, but apparently she helped police with cases and that kind of stuff and like wrote a book, if not multiple books. So she wasn't like famous, but she obviously had some sort of career
Yeah.
that was, notable enough to have her life optioned for Hollywood.
Yeah, I guess so. I went ahead and I pulled up Allison Dubois' Wikipedia here. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe we'll be able to plumb something.
The depths.
Here. There's criticism. There's a whole criticism section.
Yeah, well.
I've got some to add to this. Skeptics such as Paul Kurtz and Ray Hyman have said that Dubois does not have psychic powers. Skeptic James Randi, love James Randi, says that people such as Dubois give the appearance of psychic powers through cold reading techniques. For example, Dubois, when doing her first reading of Schwartz, told him that his deceased friend was telling her, "I don't walk alone," which Schwartz understood to be a reference to his friend's confinement to a wheelchair, which Dubois could not have known about. Randi says that Schwartz... I don't know who Schwartz is. I guess they're just referring to something that happened before. James Randi says that Schwartz leapt to an unsupportable conclusion, since the notion of not walking alone can mean a number of things, and certainly does not describe being in a wheelchair.
Right.
In 2005, James Randi offered to have Allison Dubois tested for his $1 million challenge. He would... We've talked about him on the show, not in a while. Yeah. But very famously, James Randi was like one of the greatest skeptics of the paranormal of all time. So he had this $1 million challenge. If you can prove that you have a psychic, paranormal, superhuman ability in a controlled, tested environment, repeatable, scientifically tested, he'll give you $1 million. Nobody ever claimed it.
Right.
According to James Randi, Allison Dubois declined his invitation to the challenge. In 2011, the James Randi, the foundation thing he started, again issued the $1 million challenge to Allison Dubois and others, commenting, Allison Dubois has turned the huckster art of cold reading into a multi-million-dollar industry, preying on families' deepest fears and regrets. They should be embarrassed by the transparent performances. Former FBI profiler, behavioral science expert, and MSNBC analyst Clint Van Zandt, Stevie Van Zandt, sorry, little Stevie Van Zandt.
Of course.
That's what I should have said.
He's doing the Super Bowl halftime.
Shut up. That was so funny. Kristen told me, it was like last year.
Yeah, recent. I don't remember. Yeah.
Kristen goes, I don't know why he came up.
No, he didn't even come up. It was that I was over the day of the Super Bowl and you or Allie were like, who's doing the Super Bowl tonight? And I was like, oh, it's Bob Seger and little Stevie Van Zandt. And you guys were like, really? And I was like, yeah, it's so weird. It's like these two old men who aren't that popular. And then we just kind of got off topic. And then, I was so like, funny. I couldn't believe you believed it. I seriously thought it was something that I was going to say. And you guys were going to be like, yeah, okay, who is it? But you both were like, huh. So I just went with it.
I'm not up on that stuff. I don't know.
And then
I've seen him on TV.
I know.
He's
Bob Seger is dead though.
Oh, well, I don't know anything about Bob Seger.
I don't either. I had to look it up.
I know George Siegel.
Yeah. Also dead.
Oh, damn it. Well, maybe Allison Dubois can help us contact them. So Stevie Van Zandt, I think, plays the guitar for Bruce Springsteen. Yes. He's in The Sopranos. He wears that.
The bandana.
Yeah.
And then I texted Will and Allie later to make sure that they had seen the Super Bowl and knew who it was, because I was afraid that Allie was going to go into work the next day and maybe like ask somebody how little Stevie was at the Super Bowl, and I didn't want her to be embarrassed.
Oh, little Stevie?
Yeah.
Steamy. Little steamy Van Zandt there. So anyway, now this article reads, MSNBC analyst Stevie Van Zandt challenges statements about psychics helping law enforcement, arguing if psychics were truly successful and if their results were not simply the consequence of trickery, at worst, or good interviewing skills at best, then why don't law enforcement agencies have psychic detective squads, a real X-Files unit, or other ways to integrate these paranormal investigative capabilities? It's a good question. That's a really good point.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because... To be generous, and also what I think,
that's a great point.
It's not a science. I do think that there are some real psychics. I think there are a ton of not real ones. But even the ones who I think maybe have some ability, I don't think it's a science. And I think they probably are off sometimes. So it would not be a good idea to have a unit there, because even the good ones, I don't think it's like not quantifiably like, yep, this is going to take care of it.
I've never seen the show Psych. My understanding is that it's a guy who's
I've seen some of it. Yep.
He's keenly perceptive.
Yes.
And he joins the police saying that he is a psychic, but he's really a phony.
Yeah.
But he can actually solve the crimes. I've got a show idea now. There is a psychic squad for the police, and a phony lies and is promoted into it and is like, oh no, now I'm with real psychics and I know I'm fake. But everybody in that squad is fake.
Yeah. And they're all thinking the same thing.
They're all afraid that the others are going to get on catch on to them. And then eventually they're like, wait, none of us are real psychics? Well, idiots, we can't lose our jobs.
Yeah,
so they have to now team up to solve the crimes together faster than the police can.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
Let's get to work on that.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's a little bit about Allison Dubois. Here's what happened on the Real Housewives. So this is just supposed to be a dinner party.
Yes.
Allison Dubois is not brought to the dinner party to do readings, to do psychic stuff.
She's simply a guest of Camille's because they're friends.
She is merely meant to sit as Camille Grammer's right hand.
Yeah.
At the table. Camille Grammer is sitting at the head of the table, and Allison Dubois is to her right.
Yeah.
And she's...
What do you call that? Like a consigliere?
Yeah, like a consigliere, yes. And she's smoking an e-cigarette.
And this was a while ago.
was
Like,
a
I
long
think
time
that
ago.
might have been the first time I'd seen an e-cigarette where I was like, oh.
Yes.
Huh.
And
Like, it
is-
looks like a cigarette.
Yeah, it's got like the brown paper, the red cherry tip whenever she like puffs on it.
Yeah.
And she clearly has got some like pride in having it, or a flaunting quality about gesturing with it and sort of posing with her cigarette.
Yeah, and like blowing out smoke weird and stuff.
Right. So here's what happens. Everyone immediately is like, so you're psychic, you're a medium. And she goes, yes, I am. Like, can you tell us anything? And she goes, oh, I don't think you want me to do that.
Yeah.
She says, I'm like a drug. Once you start, you can't stop.
Yeah.
Which is like so irritating. It's femme fatale language that she's using in a real life setting.
Yeah.
It's noir.
Oh my God. I never really thought about it before, but you're right. She is acting like a femme fatale, like noir person.
Yes.
Weird.
I've never heard anyone in real life say, I'm like a drug.
Yeah.
Once you start, you can't stop. You're not going to be able to get enough.
It's crazy.
It's like, she thinks that she's Uma Thurman from the cover of Pulp Fiction.
Right.
So Kyle Richards, who is from the movie Halloween.
Yep.
And most recently from Halloween Kills, she plays little Lindsay Wallace.
Yeah.
Who Jamie Lee Curtis is babysitting. The
Later
actual
big
actress.
Lindsay Wallace.
That's right.
And it seems like she's going to have a bigger part in Halloween Ends because there's like a production still of her and Jamie Lee Curtis and Jamie Lee Curtis's granddaughter in the movie.
Yeah.
So it seems like she's kind of stepping up.
I'll tell you what, I liked her in Halloween Kills. Her
I thought
segment
she was the best part.
Yeah, her scene was
Yeah.
one of the only things I really connected with in that movie.
Yeah, same.
So sure, bring her back. Why not?
I like her in general. She's one of the more normal housewives, believe it or not.
I'm certainly on her side in this
Yeah.
situation here because she's like, "Oh, really? Like you can't tell us anything?" And Allison Dubois goes, "Oh, the things that I could tell you, you wouldn't want to hear them though. It wouldn't be any fun.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like the fun would stop." And so what is it? So she I remember now. So little Lindsay Wallace, what's her real name?
Kyle Richards.
Kyle Richards basically sort of eggs on. Everyone is, though.
Yeah.
Everybody's egging on Allison
Yes.
Dubois to do something, say something. I know you're not here to be like putting on a show for us. But how can you ignore?
And also, you're on camera right now.
You're on
like,
TV.
Yeah.
It's just you never meet a psychic. I'd like to see something wacky happen, or can we at least talk about your abilities and not
Right.
other than you just saying like little soundbite things about how badass you are.
Yeah.
So then
She was like, I'm off the clock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so scummy.
And she said that, when she's with other people, that she tells the spirits to kind of like take a back seat so she can have a conversation with everybody else. But she said, I do head taps here and there, though. Like, meaning like she'll tap into what's going on with people here and there.
Oh, is that what that meant? I thought that was something that
so.
she could do if you'd like to.
No, I think she was like, I do little head taps. Like I tap in and see what's going on with people. Because then Lisa Vanderpump, who's across from her, is like, oh, what are you tapping in from me? Is my grandmother here? And she's like, I'm not doing that right now. I'm off the clock. I'm not tapping in.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I have no idea. What? What?
How would I know that? I
mean, I should know that.
Yeah.
So that sucks. So if you're out to dinner with her, she might, and she's like,
Secretly?
No, I'm pushing the spirits to the back right now.
Yeah, don't worry
but
about
then she
it.
might dip in and like see what I'm thinking about cheese for a
Yeah.
minute.
Yes.
She might just read my cheese
That
thoughts.
is the implication.
That sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
So there's no trust there.
No.
You can't have a real relationship with this person.
I wouldn't think so. You would have to really put that aside. You'd have to have this cognitive dissonance all the time. And by the way, I think why she got so worked up with Kyle asking her stuff is because Kyle and Camille have a history. They have not been really getting along. And Allison is Camille's friend. So she's already like, ugh, this Kyle.
Listen, I'm sorry. I'm 35.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll ever happen again. Fingers crossed that I'll ever be like, well, you were mean to my friend, so now I hate you.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
come on. What are we doing? Like,
I know.
That's how these people
I know.
live
And
their
these women
lives.
are like in their 40s.
What are we up to, everybody? I gotta go to sleep.
Yep. That's
makes
enough.
me tired, makes me sleepy. Aren't they rich?
Yeah, they're super rich.
This
That's
is what
the
they're
whole
doing
thing.
with their time.
That's part of the thing is that
Put on The Grudge.
They've got nothing else going on.
Put on The Grudge and fall to sleep.
There's that study that says that like your happiness does increase with money to a certain point.
Right.
And then it sort of plateaus and then it starts to drop.
You think it's that. They have too much money.
They have too much money, which has afforded them too much time and too much convenience and too much space for their heads to just like find other things to become conflicts in life because they don't have the natural conflict of bills and all the things that make you do things that you have to do.
So here's something crazy. Mm-hmm. Do these people have affluenza?
Yeah.
Right? Like these are sort of, in a weird way, I would love to have this money.
Yeah, totally. I don't want that used in a court of law against them, but they do. They're just, yes.
Right.
They've got this pathos that comes from being affluent.
They're a little bit hindered in their social ability. It's a little curse.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with them now.
Yes, but I think for some of them, we know that they're cursed, but they have no idea.
Right. Right, of course. Yeah, they don't know. They don't know.
Moving through life.
I mean, I would love to have that curse, by the way.
Totally. Camille's completely detached from reality.
Is she?
Yes.
You ever see that video of Kelsey Grammer falling off that stage?
I think I have.
He's like giving a speech, he just falls.
I think I have.
That's good.
Camille in this season, I mean...
Remember when Kelsey Grammer played Beast?
Yes, I certainly do.
The X-Men?
Yes. She's reading like The Art of War, like sitting at the kitchen counter.
Oh.
And she uses a lot of like big words like pernicious. And I think she really wants to put forward that she is smart and she's not just Kelsey Grammer's arm candy, but it comes off very forced and weird. At the dinner party, she says she calls her the morally corrupt Faye Resnick, which is somebody who's a guest at her dinner party.
The morally corrupt. Oh, yeah, there's a whole thing. Oh, my God. I forgot about this because I was so focused on the psychic.
Right, as you should be.
Camille Grammer just goes like, where have I seen you before? And then I realize, oh, I know where. You posed in Playboy after the OJ trial.
Right.
Now, I don't know what's happening. For me, it's like when a dog watches TV and they don't really...
Yeah.
I don't really know what's happening.
They're shapes and sounds.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at these people. I've clocked them as human.
Yeah.
And I know that what they're speaking is English.
Right.
But I don't know what's happening. So when she says you posed in Playboy after the OJ trial, I've got a thing about, granted, I know this is a bit of a tentpole term to use, boomers.
Sure.
I noted probably 15 years ago that a lot of boomers... They really latched onto that OJ trial.
It was huge.
They just talk about that. You know, Jay Leno for a long time, up until like the late aughts, would just reference the OJ trial. I was like, listen, everyone, we've moved past Judge Ito.
Right. Apparently we haven't.
And like for him, it was like that's where he froze.
Yeah.
Like, this is what he knows.
Yeah, like people who peak in high school, comedians peaked at the OJ trial.
Exactly. There are some boomer comics that peaked at the OJ trial.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at her and I was like, is she just thinking about how the world splits into what life was like before OJ?
Pre and post OJ.
Exactly.
It's her BC
Yes.
AD.
It very much puzzled me.
Yes.
But no. Please explain to me what you've already explained to me before the show.
So Faye Resnick was best friends with Nicole Brown Simpson and Kris Jenner. And so she gained some notoriety because of the OJ trial, and that led to her doing Playboy. And so that is why Camille was kind of judging her and being like, you used your friend's death and tragedy and profited from it.
Now, real quick.
Yes.
Why is this person at this dinner table on The Real Housewives of New York?
Well, it was Beverly Hills.
Whatever it is.
And she is very good friends with Kyle. So she came as Kyle's guest.
I'm just puzzled about who these people are.
Yes.
And why.
I don't know why. Every once in a while, Faye Resnick just comes with Kyle places.
Because Kris Jenner.
Yeah.
You just mentioned Kris Jenner from the Kardashians.
Yes. She's also good friends with Kyle.
Also derived from fame from the OJ trial.
Yes.
It really is
it's a linchpin for a whole
genesis
lot of stuff.
point for a vapid reality world.
How dare you, but yes. Yeah.
And there's probably an argument to be made, and I'm certain it has been made probably in many like college papers, that the OJ trial was one of the original reality shows.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
So
that's a thing.
It being the wellspring.
I think it was the first televised court case like that.
But there have always been crime of the century.
There have
things.
been, but not where
it was just the one for the 90s, right?
Well, and also you could tune in every day and watch it on TV. That was brand new. I think it was literally brand new.
Right. Yeah. I guess so.
I think so. I think that was the first televised court case.
The Menendez brothers.
I think that was after.
Really?
I think I could be wrong. You know what? I could be wrong. They're very close together.
Anyway, the point is, it's just so weird that I'm not very into true crime, really, or I really bristle against people having fun with true crime. Mm-hmm. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
But like OJ, like people were murdered. 2 people were murdered.
Yeah.
And it's now weirdly the origin point for bizarre, wacky, drunken modern reality show pop culture.
I mean,
isn't that weird?
It is all weird, but it's a little like
it's you know what I was gonna say? It's a little indirect. No, it's pretty direct.
I don't think it's that direct. I mean, it's
the Kardashians is because of the OJ stuff.
The Kardashians is really mainly because of Paris Hilton and then Kim's sex tape.
What was Paris Hilton?
Paris Hilton was best friends with Kim Kardashian. So Kim Kardashian started to be known because of that. Then her sex tape came out and it made her even more famous. And then people were like, oh, weird. This group of famous people, Kardashians, that's right. That they're related to Robert Kardashian from the OJ trial. So it's not like they became famous with the OJ trial.
No, I certainly. Yeah. But if Kim Kardashian was not related to the OJ trial and released a sex tape, people would go like, what? Okay.
No.
And move on. No?
I disagree.
I'm sure people are releasing sex tapes now where people are like, I don't care.
I'm sure they are, but it was really, it had nothing to do with the OJ trial, her getting famous.
Huh.
It was really Paris Hilton, if anything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So we have Paris.
So it's really just a coincidence almost that it's like, oh, she also has, her father was involved with the OJ trial.
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay. Maybe I had it backwards. Anyway, so that's just a little pocket argument that happens, but back to Allison Dubois, the psychic.
Of course.
So Allison Dubois, egged on by Kyle Richards, finally goes, okay, fine. You want something? Your husband will never satisfy you and you know it.
She says, he will never emotionally fulfill you. Know that.
Know that. You can quote it.
Yeah.
Kristen
this
can
is
quote
an
it.
I say this literally, not just this is an iconic moment in Housewives. This dinner party from hell is a thing.
And in Kristen's history.
Yeah,
this was a big moment for Kristen.
Yeah.
This was huge for her.
He will never emotionally fulfill you. Know that.
And she says
shockwaves were felt.
Everybody is like in a stunned silence for a moment. It really is the calm before the storm. Because everyone's sort of like joking around, being like, come on, you're psychic, do something, say something. Then she drops that bomb and everyone just sort of like recoils for a second. And then we're into it. And it's an explosion of people talking over each other and going like, well, no, so to be Kyle kind of egged her on. She sort of pushed her and then she said that and she was just trying to be honest. It's like people like making excuses for the psychic saying something insane.
I think there are 2 sides. It's like Camille, and then Camille has another friend who's like sitting right across from Allison Dubois, and they're trying to kind of fix it. But then like everybody else is like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah, Allison Dubois is not trying to fix anything.
Oh, she's sitting back with that giant martini glass and her e-cig puffing away.
Posing and reveling in this moment.
That she created.
Yes.
It's like in Mean Girls when Regina George is like standing with her arms crossed and there's just like chaos happening all around her.
Right, yeah.
She has created this.
100%. And she says to Kyle Richards, she goes, when your kids are bigger, the 2 of you will have nothing in common anymore.
Yeah.
And you know it. Something like that again. And as you pointed out, Kyle Richards and her husband are still together.
Going strong. One of the strongest couples in the Real Housewives universe.
So I think that alone should be like, oh, Allison Dubois is at least wrong.
Yeah.
And at worst, a dumb idiot.
Yeah.
Loser.
I don't see Mauricio Umansky
who tried to just
going
start
anywhere.
a fire.
Yeah.
For fame,
she just wanted to hurt her.
She already had.
She was like pissed at her because she's like mean to Camille or whatever, and also wanted a moment for TV. And
But if your business is insisting that you're psychic,
She's probably rich as hell anyway.
you probably can't afford to use it as a tool on a gamble. Right? Like if the marriage is still together.
Apparently you can.
If the marriage is still together, then Allison Dubois is a phony.
Yeah.
Because this was a long time ago.
Right.
And all right, well then she's and now it's an
clearly
iconic
she's
moment.
a psychic. We were saying, is she a medium or a psychic medium or whatever? So clearly she must be a psychic. Yeah.
But so like clearly, if she made the mistake of starting a fire in such a big way that it became an iconic moment.
Oh yeah.
Because now it will live forever in infamy.
Yes.
As her being wrong.
Yes.
Her being a loser scumbag and being wrong.
She is not a public person.
Oh no?
Anymore. No. So she is just taking her money and is just doing her thing.
Boy, because I look at her on that camera and I
think
just
that's
see
why
somebody
she's not a public person anymore.
who is gobbling the spotlight and wants the fame and wants to be part of this. Wanted to be a recurring person on this show, wanted her own reality spinoff.
Yeah.
She already had one TV show based on her. Now she can be the star herself.
Yes.
And so are you do you have a theory that maybe she was like, uh-oh, this didn't go well.
Yeah, I think
let
so.
me recede?
I think so. And she and Camille aren't friends anymore. Wow. Yeah.
What a dummy.
Yeah.
So for the rest of the episode, because it really is just, I mean, it's impossible to watch these things.
I mean,
Kristen,
I strongly disagree, but I hear you.
Everyone's just talking over each other. I don't know what's even happening anymore. They're all just yelling at each other.
Chaos.
It's really one moment that's very appealing.
Yeah.
And then it's just fallout of people flipping out.
Right.
I'm sure maybe all the richness that you have of understanding each relationship
adds to it. I think that's probably true.
Probably, because for me, I'm just like, it really is like a bomb was set off and now I'm just watching debris.
Right.
Debris for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So so people start leaving. At one point, somebody stands up and goes, enough.
Taylor Armstrong.
These are not the ladies that we are. Enough. And people start filing out.
Yeah.
And I was like, good, because you've all been sitting here for so long in these high back chairs at your fancy dinner.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is sitting around yelling at each other in comfy seats, eating yummy food. And I was just like, if you're really having this bad a time, leave.
Get going.
Please leave.
Yeah. Leave me in peace. It's not a joke. Don't laugh. Yeah.
Leave. Leave me. Anyway, can't wait for the new Batman. Do you see any clips of that?
I've seen the trailer and stuff.
Man, you want to feel like crap for 3 hours?
Yeah, I know. 3 hours, 2:47 besides credits.
Anyway.
Woo.
Used to love Batman.
Huh?
I used to love.
Me too. I think I'm a little Batmaned out. I just need a little space.
Yeah, I need some space.
I'm still going to see it.
Yeah.
But.
So then, I wrote a 5-minute video feels eternal. And then I have this quote from Allison Dubois. Everyone's gone, basically. It's her, Camille, and someone else.
Yeah, Camille's friend. I can't remember her name is.
And she goes, my dad said, live life large and make no apologies for who you are. Fudge 'em. I don't give a shrimp what she thinks about me. She can fudge off. And Camille is caught on camera giving her sort of like the cut it off signal, like the little line across the throat.
Yeah.
Like, shut up.
Be cool.
Which I can't tell how authentic that is. Like, that might have been a true moment of just being like, you're going too far. You're saying too much stuff.
Yeah, you're going to be embarrassed.
For the cameras.
Yeah.
You might want to shut up now because this sucks.
It could be that.
It might be. And then she says this, Allison Dubois. She goes, I can tell you when she will die and what will happen to her family. I love that about me.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's the other big line of the episode.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
That
unhinged
is an insane thing.
Yes.
That is maybe one of the craziest things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm thrilled if you've got self-confidence, self-worth. That's important.
Yes.
You have to know yourself. You have to love yourself. But this is...
That's what you love about... I don't know if you have to love that about yourself.
This is horrific to me. I can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Not I can tell her when she's going to die and she can avoid it or come to terms with it, or like theoretically having the ability to tell when somebody's going to die is like a power that you should wield very carefully.
Yeah.
Right? Like the ramifications of what this means on an emotional level, let alone practical level.
Right.
But no, I can tell you when she will die and what will happen to her family, which is so callous.
Yeah.
What will happen, just the fallout of those people over there. I love that about me.
Yeah.
I'm so bad. I'm so badass. I've got my little e-cigarette, my martini.
I think she was wasted.
I think she had too many martinis.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think she was not of this world in a different way.
Real wild.
Yeah.
I also wrote down, I absolutely cannot tell anyone apart. That's true. On all these shows, every single clip I watch, I was like, everybody looks like everybody else. I don't know what's happening.
Because they all have plastic surgery. It starts to make your features.
It's all one face.
Yeah.
We are all one.
Yeah,
in
we
the
are
face.
all one.
And then outside, Kyle, as she's leaving, goes, flippin' haunted house in Disneyland. I cannot deal with this crap. I just want to get out of here. And then the sprinklers turn on the lawn. Like, maybe Allison Dubois could have warned you about that too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe she loves that about her, that she knew that was coming and didn't tell them.
And sprinklers in 3, 2, 1. Ooh, music to my ears. Puff. Boy, did I hate her.
Yeah.
So smug.
Oh, she's terrible.
Ooh, that Allison Dubois. She just riles me up so. Well, this is what you've done to me.
Yes. William, thank you very much for your sacrifice.
I think we've all
appreciate it.
sacrificed. This is now an episode of our show.
Yeah.
This is now on our feeds for all time.
And I gotta tell you, there could be a part 2 in there.
Are you sure?
Oh, I'm 100% sure.
This is very similar to Riverdale.
Yeah.
Please be honest.
Oh,
with
I'm
us.
not saying, no.
Tell me if
I'm
not
not even
this.
saying next
No.
week
We're
or
not
anything.
doing next week. No.
No.
But do people out there want more of this? Because I'll do it.
You don't even have to do it. I can do it. There are a lot of psychic things.
Oh, I know. I saw the list.
Over the season.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I do think that there's a joy to be wrung out of you and I being uncomfortable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that I'll watch an episode with you or something like that, and we can talk about it. Or
it wouldn't even be a whole episode. It's picking these clips.
Yeah,
Is the thing. Yeah, it's not, there's never a whole episode where they're at a psychic's house.
That's what I really sort of wanted, and then I even watched that Halloween show, and I was like, why are we talking about mayonnaise so much?
I know.
There's a little mayonnaise heavy in this Halloween episode.
Yeah, no, there's not really a Halloween episode per se. It's just that they'll do something in the midst of other stuff.
I also think I saw someone in blackface.
Oh, what?
In a list.
Oh, yes, you did.
Yeah.
Luann.
Yeah, I sure did.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
She dressed up as Diana Ross in blackface for a Halloween.
What are we doing?
Not good.
What are we up to? Why is it on the show?
I know. I don't know. They do call it out in the show.
What a...
Another housewife is like, what the hell? So maybe they couldn't cut around it and they wanted to acknowledge it. I don't know. But yeah.
What a catastrophe.
Yes.
These people.
Catastrophic.
These people are catastrophes.
Yes.
How many of them have you gotten like cameos from and stuff?
One, Sonia.
Just one?
Yeah.
Why do I know the name Countess Luann? Why do I know this?
I'm telling you, William, it's in the zeitgeist.
No, I think you told me about these people. I think you've shown me clips.
I don't think I've shown you clips. It just doesn't sound like something you would enjoy.
You're right.
I wouldn't. Why would I foist that upon you?
Why have I seen these things? Why are they in my head?
I don't know. I mean, we did live together at a certain point when this was on. So I guess Mom and I would be watching it. You would come across.
My brain.
But it would never occur to me to be showing you clips of stuff just from me to you.
Kristen, if they're going to live in my head, they could at least pay the rent.
You know they can afford it. Well, thank you very much, everybody. And William, thank you again for saving us all from having to talk about Garbage Pail Kids.
Well,
for an hour.
For an hour.
Yeah, the generosity.
We're still going to look at it.
Yes, we're going to give it a look. You'll find out about it. But William, thank you very much for taking a dive.
I just want people not to forget this.
Yeah, no, they won't.
I tried to help.
Yes. No, I genuinely appreciate it. I think this is probably a lot more pleasant for everybody involved.
Oh, sure.
Than Garbage Pail
Nowhere
Kids.
in this episode did we refer to Messy Tessie.
Till now.
Yeah.
Well, if you liked the show, thank you so very much. And if you would like to help support the show and get even more of it, go to patreon.com/GTTUpod. We have a number of different tiers there, and you can choose one that will give you the option of either getting a full bonus show every single week, every 2 weeks, or every 4 weeks. And thank you so much to everybody who is already supporting us over there. It is the hugest deal. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all so much. And honestly, what I really want to say now is we keep referring to this episode where Kristen and I faced off in horror trivia games. I think it's one of my favorite things we've done in a while.
Yeah,
and
it was really fun.
I enjoy the stuff we do. I was like cutting it together, and I picked a moment for the cold open, which I knew would mislead everybody. And it's such a little roller coaster ride of
he's up, he's down. I'm up, I'm down.
Oh, it's so much fun. It gets so tense at the end. It really is like to the finish line.
Yes.
This competition. And we reveal a game that we used to play as kids in the episode. And it's so much fun. Please go check it out.
Yep.
Patreon.com/GTTUpod. You can get that starting at the Ghost tier. That starts at $4 a month and up. Demon tier, that starts at $13, gets everything. Every single Monday you get a bonus show. And now there are over 40 bonus shows up there. So if you sign up today, you've got 40 episodes just waiting for you, plus all the other things that we've done on the Patreon.
Yep.
So thank you everybody who backed us there. And please, if you have not checked it out, dip in. You can dip in and dip out, by the way.
Yeah, people do it all the time.
Exactly. So go check it out. We'd greatly appreciate it, and you'd have a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah.
But if you go to gttupod.com, that's our main website, you can find links to everything else. Links to our merchandise, links to contact us, our P.O. box, every previous main episode.
Info about advertising with us. I just updated that today.
That's right. Yeah. And you can also follow us. We're at GTTUpod on all social media, including TikTok. We've been posting a lot of really fun short videos for people, little like bite-sized trivia bits or just little updates, things like that. So make sure you go follow that. And you can also speak to us directly online.
I'm at Chillin' Kristen.
I am at The Myth Traveler. So we'll be back next week for some more real spooky kids in New Jersey. But until that time comes, we must travel.
Back to the Netherworld, go we. Did you like New York or Beverly Hills more?
Kristen, I'm not kidding. I don't think I could tell you the difference.
Okay.
I don't think I could. Right? Let me think.
Fair.
Hold on.
That's an answer.
Hold on. Ramona was on New York.
Yes. There you go.
There you go.